Welcome, my good people, fam. This your boy Z, the Real here, and today I'm gonna attract my attention tonight on Mr. Kyle Larson here. Okay, and for those of you who don't know the news or haven't heard, NASCAR has been doing a virtual race just like 2K had their tournament with their players tournament since COVID-19 has shut a lot of the business down, and a lot of sports for that matter. A lot of sporting events can't be done in public. NASCAR decided to do an e-race, a virtual race, right? With all these race car drivers competing. And Kyle Larson here was one of the competitors. So I guess in the race, there was a live stream that was recording the race. And during the race, he blurted out the N-word, right? He called somebody or referring to someone in the race a nigger, okay? Now, y'all know how I feel about the N-word, all right? For those of you who see my Zachary K. Hubbard video, go watch that video, right? Because I told y'all before, the N-word is not going to be tolerated at all. Okay? So for those who think the N-word is just fake, no, people are still saying it. Now you see now, right? And I'm still waiting for Zachary K. Hubbard to apologize, which he does not give a damn, right? He doesn't care. All Zachary K. Hubbard going to do is calculate these numbers, right? But the fact that, and I told you about Hubbard, the fact that Hubbard says that 42 equals the N-word, that says a lot about that system, right? I told you, man, that system is evil. But for Kyle Larson here, let me explain something to him, right? Because again, I want people to really understand this, right? And I'm gonna try to keep this video as clean. I'm gonna keep out the profanity, but this baffles me, right? This hurts me to my soul that you got people who are still this ignorant in this country. I've said that I've covered this on this channel. I told y'all racism ain't going nowhere, right? There's a lot of bad history when it comes to that N-word. Especially the nigga, right? See, us black folks, the reason why we use nigga, because people like Kyle Larson created for us, but we create our own slang to it, right? They use that word for us, so we create our own slang, and we say the GA, but even then, we only say nigga behind closed doors, right? You ain't gonna never see no other professional athlete, whether it be, and I'm talking about the black professional athletes, right? Like the LeBron Jameses, the Patrick Mahomes, Steph Curry. None of them are gonna be saying the N word on the camera. No black athlete is going to be saying that, right? It's not going to be tolerated, right? So Kyle Larson, I want you to get understanding now, right? Because I done heard your apology and I done seen what you have to say, but me, I'm still not convinced. Other people may be convinced, I'm not. You just mad that you got caught, okay? Kyle, what happened to you basically is what happened to Donald Sterling of the Los Angeles Clippers, right? You got caught saying at the wrong place at the wrong time. And you knew you was being recorded anyway, right? There's no excuses for that. That's what I'm saying, man. This man didn't mean, Kyle, you didn't mean to say that. You meant to say that. This is how you really feel about black people, right? Despite there have been many black people who have got involved in NASCAR. Because, Kyle, what you don't realize, there's been many black people other than Wendell Scott that have been NASCAR drivers. Like Tia Norfleet, which is the young lady who was also a driver a few years ago. And then you have Daryl Bubba Wallace Jr., right? He's a current driver in your division. Because see, Kyle Larson, if you would say the nigger word on camera and I understand you're in your house, but Kyle, you gotta understand that, yeah, you're in your own home, right? On a live stream, but at the same time too, Kyle, you represent NASCAR, you represent an organization. All of these logos, these decals you got on your jackets here. You know what I'm saying? All these sponsors, you represent these sponsors like Chevy, McDonald's here, Monster. They can't tolerate you calling black folks the N-word. They can't tolerate that. That's bad for business, Kyle. But of course you don't care because you've been raised to think of black folks as that word. And Kyle, I understand, right? You want your NASCAR to be strictly for white folks, right? I get it, right? Kyle, you're one of these people in this country who don't like the fact that black folks is involved in every sport, right? You're one of the type of people who are against black folks. You didn't like the fact that black folks was allowed to play in national sports, right? Kyle, you one of those people whose families was basically raised off of segregation. They come from that era, right? The Jim Crow, Willie Lynch. I understand, Kyle. I understand how you're feeling. But my thing is, Kyle, what I'm trying to understand, Mr. Larson, is that was you saying the N-word out of anger because you was mad that you was losing, that somebody's black was beating you in that race? Because whether it been Daryl Wallace or another black driver, right? This what you was mad about, right? Either you was mad because you was losing race, so you blocked that word, which again was extremely ignorant and stupid, right? That had no common sense. Or B, Kyle, you just racist. This is how you feel behind closed doors. You don't like black folks, period. You don't like them in your pit crews, right? You don't like somebody like Darren Wallace driving. You don't like him at all. But Kyle, this is what you gotta understand. NASCAR ain't just for you, it's for everybody. This is America. Kyle, we in a country where everybody is free to do whatever they want to do. They could become what they want to become, right? They have that liberty and that freedom. Again, Kyle, segregation ended a long time ago. Okay? Black folks have been allowed to play professional sports since the 1950s. Okay, since Jim Brown, right? Joe Louis, okay, Muhammad Ali, right? All these other black players got together, right? And they broke it in for you, right? They broke it in for all of us. So Kyle, I understand it. You come from a family that raised you to be racist, that raised you to hate black folks. I get it. But Kyle, you cannot say the N-word whatsoever at all. You know better than this, right? Because Kyle, before you got involved in NASCAR, they told you the guidelines, right? Every sport has a set of guidelines that you must follow in that contract. And Kyle, in that contract, it tells you that you must not say any racial slurs that goes against you're not allowed to discriminate, and you're not allowed to say or speak any racial slurs while you're on the media. That means while you're on camera or while you're at a NASCAR event. Kyle Larson, the event you was a part of on that virtual on that NASCAR game, that was a NASCAR event. Kyle, you represent you represent a company. You represent Credit One Bank, and you represent McDonald's, who has black employees. They have black customers, okay? You saying the N-word looks bad on everybody, right? They cannot have that. So, Kyle, this is why your NASCAR career, as far as I'm concerned, is over. Kyle, they can't let you back in. I'm sorry, man. NASCAR cannot do that. Because, Kyle, if they let you back in, right? If they give you a second chance, let you back in, that's going to look very bad, especially now. Because after COVID-19 is over and people go back to the events, you getting back involved with it's gonna be a bad look. Not to forget to mention, Kyle, you already pissed off a lot of people already. Okay. So again, Kyle, you gotta understand this. Black folks such as myself, because Kyle, I myself is also a NASCAR fan. Kyle, there are people like me who grew up in the hood, right? In out the hood. And Kyle, I grew up in the South too, right? I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. That's where my mom's side of the family. They from Jackson, Mississippi, right? When I was young, even though I was born in California, just like Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon I was raised in Mississippi in my younger childhood days. And I remember my granddaddy, rest in peace, would have the TV on Channel 7 on ABC. And I would watch drivers such as Dale Earnhardt. Again, God rest his soul, right? One of the greatest drivers of all time. I watch him. I would watch Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, right? Mark Martin. All these Hall of Famers I would watch, Kyle, growing up as a little kid. My very first diecast in NASCAR, the little toy I had was a Michael Waltrip when he drove for the Sicko. He had already left Pennzoil. He went to the Sicko, and it was a Burgundy. It was the number 21 Sicko, right? That was my very first diecast car. And then when I moved to California, my parents bought me up the 42 Mellow Yellow, right? Of course, everybody knows that car from Days of Thunder that Tom Cruise did in that movie, which was a NASCAR movie that I watched and enjoyed, Kyle. But the real driver was Kyle Petty. So I had that. I had the Kyle Petty version because Kyle Petty's version had the silver rims on there. But since then, I was collecting other toys. Again, I had Dale Earnhardt's AC Delco. I didn't have his good wrench. I could never find it because it was rare. But I had that one. I had Dale Jarrett. I had Jeff Gordon. I had a Tony Stewart car too. Right? I had Terry Labonte, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Jeremy Mayfield. And then not to forget to mention, Kyle also collected the video games. Growing up as a kid, right? I had the very first NASCAR racing video game for the PS1 that came out in 95, 96. Right? I had NASCAR 98, 99. I had at least about 6, 7 NASCAR games for the PS1, right? And I also had games like my very first NASCAR game on the PS2 was NASCAR Thunder, which, by the way, the NASCAR Thunder series is one of the best NASCAR games of all time. Folks, just let you know. But Kyle, I had all those growing up. Mr. Larson. And again, Mr. Larson, I hope you watch this video. I hope somewhere on YouTube you watch this video because you need to know how us black folks feel about it, right? But as I continue, Larson, I had the video games even for PS3. Well, not necessarily PS3, but I had it for Xbox 360. I even bought it for PS4. So I'm a real NASCAR fan, and my favorite year was 2008. Because '08, the '07, '08, the 2008 was the year that Dale, what was it, Kevin Harvick, who replaced Dale Earnhardt as his successor, won the Daytona 500. Okay? In that big old wreck, he went out with a bang, but he won the Daytona 500. That was my favorite year, Kyle Larson. And Carl Larson, I have you know that my family, on my dad's side especially, has been to NASCAR events. My uncle Anthony Hankins, who's been working for Mitsubishi for over 20 years, is retired now. By this time, right, will always take us to NASCAR events since 2011. Okay? We've been going down to the Irwindale Speedway, which sponsors NASCAR events, the lower division. Okay? Yeah, it may not be national televised, but I watched the big race, the last big one, which they started off the season opener. I watched that. I came down and I was actually able to go on track and meet a lot of certain drivers, right? I even met another female driver who's on her way to try to become what Danica Patrick became. You see, Kyle Larson, you gotta understand this, Kyle Larson. Everybody has gotten involved with NASCAR. Like I said, Danica Patrick, a woman driver, she's done it, right? Y'all let one Pablo Montoya get in there. He's Hispanic. That man's an international Hispanic. He ain't white at all. Juan Pablo Montoya that drove for the what was that, Texaco, right? And Juicy Fruit, those two sponsors, right? He was involved with NASCAR. And you had other Latinos, okay? Yes, Kyle Larson, there have been black folks that like NASCAR. Because Kyle, what's crazy, right? Your people can get involved with our hip hop, right? See, Kyle, my black people have let your people rap with our music, with our hip hop music, our rap music, right? We've allowed Mac Miller, right? Macklemore, Eminem, who's the greatest amongst the Caucasians, right? We got whatchamacallit, right? Iggy Azalea. We have Caucasians that like our music and like our hip hop, and they dance to our beats. We allow them to dress in our clothing, right? Why can't us black folks be allowed in your sport, Cal? That's what I'm trying to understand, right? Kyle, what's the point of you? Why would you call us? Why would you say the N word, knowing that there's black folks in every sport? Because remember, Kyle, there's a black again. Your people allowed us to in, and remember, Kyle, it was your people who paid for my people to be in this country. Your people brought us here, right? So again, Carl, remember when you say the N word, Kyle, you basically you're going against everything this country has stood for. You're going against everything that we're going against, right? It's 2020, Kyle. Nobody's that stupid anymore. Okay? The baby boomers in the 1940s and the William Lynch area, most of these people are passing away, Kyle. This is what you gotta understand. Nowadays, there are more black people who are watching NASCAR than it was back in the 1990s. All right? Kyle Larson, there are more black people watching NASCAR than it was in the 1980s and 70s when you had Richard Petty, right? The King driving, right? There are more black people that watching NASCAR than when Wendell Scott decided he was going to be a driver. Okay, Kyle? And to the people watching this video, you need to understand it. The N word is not going to be tolerated at all. Now you see how much of an effect that is. Because Kyle Larson has his NASCAR career ended because of the N word. Now y'all understand why I responded to Zachary K. Hubbard. Why I put that video out there. Because again, Zachary K. Hubbard needs to be checked. That man is out of control. I told y'all that, man. I'm not going to tolerate nobody Caucasian saying the N word. Period. That goes for my own friends. Unless I'm in their house and there's no cameras around and we're not at an event. Because Kyle ain't got no excuses, right? He represents NASCAR, period. Kyle has to keep a clean slate regardless. On and off the track, he has to keep a clean slate. He has to lead by example. Larson has no excuses at all. This man got too many sponsors backing him. He's getting paid too much money. He can't say the N-word, period. But for somebody that's not involved in a professional sport, they're not on a contract with nobody, right? And they don't have they're not on TV or nothing like that. They're not a part of an actual live stream. And they're not a part of a live stream. They're not sponsored. And it's not being televised where they're part of a program. Then, okay, you're free to say what you want to say. So if I'm with one of my Caucasian friends, right, and I'm in their house and they say they decide to call me a nigga and they don't use the ER, I might just I might let it slide because they're in their house, right? It's their house, so you're free to say what you want to say in your own home. Even though I'm gonna still look at them funny, I'm gonna look at them a certain way. At least they not calling me the ER, right? It's just like Chuck Hayes, right? Tom Hanks' son. He says the N word, but he says it respectfully. You know what I'm saying? His black friend, he has black friends that allow him to say it, so he gets a pass. But Kyle, I don't believe you have too many black friends. It's just obvious, Kyle. This is how you, when you say the N word, this is how you feel in the privacy of your own home. You and your family, right? Your daughter, your wife, right? Your aunts, uncles, your parents, or whatever, they all are calling black folks N words, especially the ones they don't like. So again, Kyle, you got no excuses. So folks, if Kyle, so just you don't know, NASCAR decided to cut ties with Kyle Larson. McDonald's and Credit One have basically terminated his contract. He's no longer driving for neither Credit One or McDonald's. Right? NASCAR, I believe, has suspended him indefinitely. That means he's not allowed to compete in any NASCAR division, whether it be the Monster City, I think Monster or Xfinity, one of them, right? The newer divisions, right? The Truck Series, neither featherweight, which is the dirt track. He's not allowed to compete for no NASCAR circuit at all. He is done. Okay? They're just like Riley Cooper. And again, y'all blame the NFL for being racist, but the NFL not going to tolerate slander at all. Any racial slander, they're not going to tolerate. Riley Cooper said the N-word at a club event, right? I think it was a concert or club event. Say, I'm going to hurt I'm ready to fight these niggas, right? These niggas, right? Fight these N-words. When people find out Riley Cooper is pretty much suspended indefinitely, he was going released from the Philadelphia Eagles. And since then, no team has signed Riley Cooper back at all. Okay? Same thing with Donald Sterling back in 2014. Y'all seen when y'all seen that video Stefani put out, which is one of Don Juan's hoes that Donald Sterling was fooling around with while cheating on his wife. That was his mistress, right? He gonna tell his woman, his black mistress, you can feed them, you can clothe them, you can screw them, you can have sex with them, but don't take them, bring them to my games. And this man told a black woman that he was cheating on his wife with. That was very, very out of line. The nerve of Donald Sterling, right? She recorded it, but people still have to find out. I'm glad she did that because her exposing Donald Sterling means the Clippers would, if she had never exposed Donald Sterling, the Clippers would never be where they are now on their way to a championship. By exposing Donald Sterling's racism, it got him out there completely. Because Donald Sterling has done a lot of racial things to not only blacks but Latinos at the exact same time. This man is in real estate. He's kicked a whole lot of people out on the street. Right? He's done a lot of dirt. This is why a lot of people didn't like Sterling. That's why it's hard for us to get people involved because of Sterling. Now Sterling's gone. So Kyle Larson, if Donald Sterling and Riley Cooper are no longer allowed back in their respective sports, you're not allowed back in NASCAR. You're done. Because again, Kyle, you got no excuses for it. You know the N-word's not allowed. And the fact that you would say that on the camera in that stream should tell you that if Darrell Wallace, right, or somebody like who looks like Wendell Scott, or Tia Norfleet, right, or somebody who looks like Patrick Mahomes, Steph Curry, even Dwayne The Rock Johnson, if either one of them was to win a Daytona 500, or let's say, Kyle, you in a race and you come in second, somebody passes you up and win, you'll be calling them the N-word too. Let's just be honest, Kyle. You're calling Darrell Bubba Wallace an N-word behind his back. You don't like the fact that NASCAR allowed him to be in here. Let's just be honest. And Kyle, I understand there's other people like you in NASCAR. I understand that, Kyle. There's a lot more people like you in the NASCAR business as of now who think like you. But Kyle, the difference between you and them, they're not stupid enough to get caught like you did. They're not that dumb. Kyle, you showed yourself to just be ignorant, unintelligent, with no common sense. Because, Kyle, for one, you playing a video game, right? Y'all playing NASCAR Heat 4, all right? This is not like this was a real race. And even then, Kyle, you wouldn't dare say this on a real track because everybody would hear you on radio. Because for those, again, I guarantee y'all, folks, Kyle will never say the N-word out there on doing a NASCAR event, right? Because he's on camera. Everybody's competing, including the pit crews, are all on radio, folks. So if Kyle was ever to ever say the N-word, multiple NASCAR drivers he's racing against the schooling pit crews and spotters will all hear him. right? And the announcer will hear it. They'll make word of it, and they'll make a story out of it, okay? No, Kyle got caught doing it in his house, but he did it while he was recording it. So again, no excuses. He knew better, right? Well, of course, Kyle, I'm gonna forgive you. I gotta forgive you, right? Because the Lord wants us to forgive others, right? He said, "Love thy." He said, "You gotta forgive. You want me to forgive you." So, Kyle, I forgive you. But Kyle, I just can't tolerate somebody saying N-word, because Kyle, I just let you know that you don't trust black folks at all. You don't like my kind, and I just can't be around you. I can't look at anything that you're a part of. And Kyle, one thing NASCAR's trying to do, they trying to bring in more diversity, right? Because bringing in diversity equals more money, okay? And this is what people got to understand. NASCAR has changed over the last 15 years drastically. It's no more white only. We've had international drivers from the indie scene, like I mentioned, like Juan Pablo Montoya, like I mentioned earlier, has been a part of it. Even the Andrade family, who's been indie, right? They've had a lot of European, a lot of internationals. There's Latino, there's even Asian drivers getting involved, right? Including black. There's black people in pit crews. Even the man on NBC who covers NASCAR, right? He's a black man. He's a light skin, he's red bone, but he's a black man too. So if Kyle Larson will call whoever that was on that live stream the N-word, he'll call Darrell Wallace Jr. the N-word, the man on NBC, and other black folks that's involved in NASCAR the N-word. He's probably been saying this a long time ago. It's just the time he got exposed. So under no circumstances, because even myself, right, on this YouTube channel, I don't use no racist slurs especially when I'm responding or I'm angry about somebody. I don't use no racist slurs, right? I would never call a white person, and I'm just being honest to God, right? And this is on everything I own. I will never call a white person on here the word cracker. I'll never use peckerwood. I wouldn't call him no racial slur at all. None. I would never treat Kyle Larson's people the same way some of his people have been treating my people, right? Because I'm one of the blacks who've actually moved on from racism, right? I moved on from the segregation days, right? That's been done. It's over. But it's time to move on. And you would think that we've gotten past all this, right? But folks, every now and then you will get somebody like Kyle Larson who comes out the woodwork, and racism gets exposed. So me being a NASCAR fan myself and having a NASCAR family, this is just it's despiteful. It's really sick, right? Because you would think Kyle Larson would know better. You're part of a younger generation. This ain't the older days. Yeah, back when Dale Earnhardt was driving in the 1970s, right? Yeah, all that stuff was allowed, right? And even then, they took that when Barack Obama was president, he had the Confederate flag getting taken down, literally because he said it represents something that was negative. Okay, see, this is what Kyle Larson's pissed off about. People like Kyle Larson mad. They mad at the fact that Obama caused the Confederate flag to be taken down, right? That NASCAR allowed that, and they don't like the fact that black folks are actually likes NASCAR too. Again, they want their sport to be white only, like bull riding, right? They don't like the fact that they feel my people are taking over completely. So people like Kyle Larson, they feel that way, especially with NASCAR. I tell you, man, this guy's pissed off. He's mad as hell. He's mad that, and see, Kyle Larson understands. He's mad at the fact that he feels that black folks dominate everything we do. But Kyle Larson, we can't help that. We just got dominant. We just got good genes. Just like there are things that your people do that my people can't do that well. But no, man, this is a free country. This is America, okay? But again, I understand. NASCAR has changed significantly, right, since the old days when Kyle Larson was growing up, right? Yeah, times are different than when Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, the LeBundys, the Pettys, right, the Bodines, the Burtons, right, all these older drivers, I've watched in the 90s, things were different, okay? See, back then, you didn't have a whole lot of black people involved like it is now. But again, things have changed. You even had NASCAR series on BET because they were trying to find a black driver. Okay, it's black folks everywhere that like NASCAR, such as myself. Even in hip-hop, T.I. was even in a Chevy commercial with Dale Earnhardt Jr. You've even had Stevie Wonder make a guest appearance on a NASCAR event. This is a few years ago. And this man is blind. He can't even see, but he was actually on there because Stevie Wonder, believe it or not, likes the sound of NASCAR. To say, drivers start your engines, they like that. He likes it, okay? So folks, Kyle Larson needs to get that through his skull that, again, NASCAR is for black people too. Just like the NHL like has allowed black folks to be a part of it. Soccer, right? MLB, golf, tennis. Again, it's black people in every continent. They're everywhere in the world. You can't escape that. You can't get away from that. And you need to understand that. Times is different. This ain't the old days. Right? Again, NASCAR ain't just for white people, it's for everybody. It's for blacks too. And I for one love NASCAR. Right? I'm like one of the only kids in Long Beach in the hood that had a NASCAR game. That actually watched it and had toys. Most of my friends and family, they was into NASCAR like I was, except for like my Uncle Anthony and other certain relatives. Only certain relatives was into NASCAR. And then my family down south, they liked it too. But out here in California, I'm like the only few black people that was really into NASCAR amongst all my friends. Right? But that's what makes me different and unique. Being folks, that's the video. Right? I just want to cover that. Right? Because again, that's very important. Again, do not say the N-word at all. At all, right? And I don't even say the N-word that much on my videos anyway. Right? I've tried to cut that word out as much as possible. Right? But for Kyle Larson to be, you know what I'm saying, like employed by NASCAR and have all these sponsors paying the money to be representing NASCAR and Credit One, for him to say the N-word like that, again, that's just out of line. That's just totally disrespectful. Right? But anyways, folks, that's the video, man. Like, subscribe, comment. I thank you for watching. Shouts out to all my subscribers. Stay blessed, stay tuned. I'll see you soon.